Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, iRacing fans from around the world, welcome to another live broadcast brought to you by KMA TV. Tonight we are at Race for PAD, the monthly PAD awareness race. I am Scott Kolovic, your announcer for the evening. On cameras tonight we have Cody Lipsker. How you doing, Cody?
Doing great tonight, Scott. Really can't wait to get this race underway. Yeah, it's going to be a fun night tonight. The PAD 266, so really going to be a fun night.
266 miles, 100 laps here at Talladega on this 2.66 mile speedway. Great night of weather. We're looking at a track temp sitting at 75 degrees with an air temp of 65. We're driving the Chevy Silverado and the Toyota Tundra. Very solid, rugged vehicles. Now tonight, folks, while we are racing around this 2.66 mile speedway, Cody's going to be working those cameras, showing us the great looking trucks out here tonight, showing their support for PAD. We're going to be seeing a lot of purple, a lot of purple pride, as they call it. Now, to give you a little bit of information here about PAD, folks, Mike Clenny started PAD a few years ago after tragically losing his daughter to a distracted driving incident. Now, his daughter was an innocent victim. She was actually in the back seat, of her friend's car. Her friend decided to make the bad decision and decided to use her phone while she was driving. Right off the bat, bad decision. Thankfully, she did walk away, but unfortunately, Nikki did not. A very tragic scene indeed. It was very heartbreaking for the Clenny family. I've read a lot of information about this, and I'm not going to go into details, but I think if you took the time to go to pad.org and read about some of the details, it made me never again want to text and drive. I will say that. I've got two children myself. Every time I see my daughter walking out that door, almost every time, I try to remind her, and she's got this hands-free, which is great, but it still makes me nervous. And, it's a temptation for me, Cody. I get in the car. I don't like I got the belt clip. I don't like the belt clip when I'm driving. If it's bulky, it's in my way, I toss the phone onto the seat, and then I'll hear that ding, 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 and my instinct is to grab that phone, and, you have to fight it. Put the phone in the back seat. Well, I'll tell you another great thing out there, MaxMount. MaxMount is in association with PAD. They've got this hands-free phone holder, Cody, that will actually keep hold of your phone, but you still got to keep the eyes up there on that road. Now, Cody, you're a younger driver. We're separated out there by about 20, 25 years. How is your generation out there? What are their thoughts on PAD?
Really, the thoughts on PAD are always about the same. Everybody always appreciates what everybody else does for PAD and what PAD does and trying to give out that awareness. The younger generation, obviously, we still have the same thought process of, well, you know what, I am invincible, yada yada, blah blah blah, like most younger generations, younger people are. But I believe the awareness of PAD has really started to get around now to the point where you can get a lot more done in a lot shorter amount of time, and not that we're really trying to multitask, but it does seem like a lot of times it's a lot easier just to kind of throw it off to the side and stuff like that and then pick it up later. But really, my strategy, my thoughts on PAD, and the reason why I choose to continue to support PAD is really just because I'm able to have my phone in my back pocket, and it's almost impossible for me to actually get it out of my back pocket because I'm not a big guy, but at the same time, it's a struggle and it's a hassle, and I'd much rather, just, either toss it to my girlfriend or, keep it underneath me so that way then no matter what I don't have to worry about it. But yeah, I mean the younger generation is still very using the phone, but at the same time we're learning a lot.
All right, copy that. Drivers are done with their qualifying. Going to run through this field pretty quick here. Out there on that number one position is Andrew Schulte with a 53.305. Mark Jackson sitting in second position with a 53.312. Third place belonging to Travis Browder. Fourth place, Richard Brose. Fifth place belonging to Mitchell Reeves. Chris Bowles sitting back there in sixth position. Dustin Markham, seventh position in the Playboy truck. Donald Sadusky in the Ryan Sadusky Memorial Tribute truck we saw last night, back there in position 8. Position 9 belonging to Wally Tierheimer in the number 57. Rounding out the top 10 is my good friend Chris Hogue, showing his support out here for Pad. Position 11 belonging to Gary Whitmer. Nice looking truck there by Gary Whitmer, all over that Pad support, side by side with Jason Russo, our Tuesday night sponsor. Edward Bray, big shout out there to Black Talon and Bikers Against Child Abuse. Going to talk about that truck here in a little bit. Edward Bray, position 13, side by side with Southeast Motorsports, Jack Watts. Sitting back in 2. 15th position is Roderick Norman. 17th position belonging to Paul Pelizier. Lee Staples in position 17. Michael Johnson in position 18. J.R. Johnson position 19. Chandler Kruzek position 20. Brandon Jenkins invalid, not able to make the race. Donald Stewart position 22. Harry Dodd position 23. David Casey position 24. A few more drivers back there into the rear, but back up to Andrew Schulte, as Andrew Schulte is going to kick us off for 100 miles, 266 laps of Talladega.
Actually, it's the other way around, Scott. It's 100 laps, 266 miles. That would be a long race. 266
That would be an extremely long race.
Miles. That's a lot of time we should be spending up here in the booth. That's about double the race. 4 hours, roughly 5 hours at. It's okay. Either way it goes, though, really looking forward to the racing to be going on tonight. You see a lot of 2-wide, a lot of 3-wide action, a lot like what we saw last night in the Ryan Sadusky Memorial race. So I would be very happy to see this go a lot like that did.
Either way it goes, it is a great night for racing. Got some great looking trucks in their pace cars in. Andrew Schulte out there on that front line as we are getting ready to get down to racing here, and away they go. Inside lane already starting to form up. Nice breakaway up there for Andrew. Andrew being pushed on by the number 18 Travis Browder. Travis Browder looking like he's going to go up, and big close move right there by Dustin Markham. Amazingly, I'd say what, he made it, but that is not the kind of driving that we want to see right there on lap 1. Just about took out the number 87 right there, Cody.
Yeah, it got close. Mitchell Reeves definitely cut it pretty close to Richard Brose, but either way it goes, they both made it through. No contact, no wrecking, so we'll take it for right now. A little bit tight for lap 1, but we'll have to see if they decide to calm down after that little bit of a scare right there.
On that outside lane, Travis Browder, Richard Brose, Chris Boyles working on a max velocity line. Andrew and Mark Jackson. Mark Jackson going up to that outer line. Mark Jackson in the number 3, starting to happen with Travis on his rear. That's Mark in the number 2, forming up with Andrew Schulte. Andrew Schulte running the Nationwide is on your side, and he's got a lot of help up here early on in the front.
Well, really everybody has a lot of help. There's really nobody that's not willing to work with somebody else on lap 99, or lap lap 1, lap 2, those kind of deals. Once it comes down to closer to the end of the race, lap 98, lap 99, that's when things start heating up, and that's where, yeah, I might not want to work with you 100%. I might want to work more with this guy. That's when that kind of stuff starts kicking in. But until then, you'll see some pretty nice teamwork going on.
Want to give a big shout out there to Kristen Phillips and Mama Patty out there on that KMA TV chat. Now they're up here rooting on Mark Jackson. Now, we were talking about those camera angles, Cody. Mark Jackson out here showing his support for Pad in the bid of that Chevy Silverado as Andrew Schultz opts to go up into that outside lane. Travis Browder out here showing his support for Pad. Gary Whitmer in the number 5 moving on up to position 7. Beautiful looking pad truck there being driven by Gary Whitmer. Gary Whitmer started 11th, right now up into position 7. High hopes out here for Gary Whitmer. Three wide action there. 3 wide with the, that is the 0-2, I do believe, Mitchell Reeves. I had said earlier, you corrected me, Cody, I thought that I got Dustin Markham and Mitchell Reeves. Usually Mitchell Reeves is not in the 0-2, that is Dustin's number. I'm glad you caught that, but right now it is Mitchell Reeves in the 0-2 working with Donald Dustin. On that 3 wide position, they are 3 wide with Wally and Gary. Wally Tierheimer, the number 57, the monkey in the middle, staying in perfect formation there with the number 28. 28 trying to stay up in line with the number 87 as Mitchell Reeves and Donald Sadusky making something big happen out there on that 3 wide racing up into that high lane.
That high line definitely seems like it's trying to go somewhere, but it just does not seem like it's got the momentum. It doesn't look like the groove is built in yet, and it might take it a couple of laps just for it to start getting some rubber laid down, so that way they can get some runs off the corners. I don't think it'll be too long before they end up really start working that 3rd line, though.
Donald Stewart hitting speeds of 200 miles per hour. Now back there in the rear of the field, you may get up there to about 201, 202 absolutely tops. Dropping back, taking a look at Wally Tierheimer. Wally Tierheimer being taken 3 wide by the number 78 Donald Stewart, who is outside, and Lee Staples with LA Graphics. Black Talon Racing, Lee Staples and Edward Gray. Lee Staples showing some support for Pad. Purple on the tail end. Purple was the color of Nikki Clenny. You see a lot of rims on the Silverados and the Thunders out here tonight with purple rims. Looking at Jack Watts, number 77. Jack Watts sitting in position 13, showing his support for Pad as well as he is trying to get up to the rear end of the number 19 of Donald Sadusky. Now last night, Donald Sadusky scoring a position 7, I do believe, in the Ryan Sadusky Memorial Tribute Race. So Donald Sadusky last night doing a very great job. Right now he is in a very good position here on lap 6. High hopes out here for Donald Sadusky as he is side by side with Jason Russo jumping up there to the number 2 of Dustin Markham. Being in front of the number 28 of Chris Boyles, pushing hard on his teammate, his good friend Chandler Puzek. Chandler Puzek pushing on Richard Brose, and they are to the front. Richard Brose side by side with Travis Browder battling hard, and there they go. We had our cameras right on there, Cody, and we're going to take a look at that. Having some tough breaks here as of late with the bumper hooking. Now, Cody, you're going to have to walk us through this replay here and talk to us about the incidental contact there between the number 48 and the number 87 here on lap 7. Tough break there for Travis Browder as Travis Browder, Richard Brose getting turned into Travis Browder, Mark Jackson surviving it. Unfortunately, it appears that the only drivers involved in that were Travis Browder, Chandler Kruzek, and Richard Brose. So 3 drivers down on lap 8.
Yeah, it's very. A lot of the drivers did end up getting very lucky on how the trucks ended up spinning and staying up on the high side of the track. You don't see that very often. Usually they'll bounce off the wall or bounce down the banking and collect a lot of other drivers into the wreckage. And very good job by all the drivers that were able to avoid after the wreck as well. So good job done by a lot of the drivers on avoiding that one.
Unfortunately, Chris Hogue and Richard Brose taking it to the hauler early on. Now, these drivers do have a backup vehicle out here, so hopefully these drivers will keep that in mind tonight. So the first caution does not necessarily mean you are out and dead in the water. We're going to get in touch with one of our first driver interviews out here, and I'd like to talk to Mark first, Mark Jackson. Right now, Mark Jackson is into pit row, so we're going to let Mama Patty and Kristen watch Mark Jackson in pit row. And once he does head out, Cody, we're going to get Mark Jackson up on the horn.
Interesting strategy for Mark Jackson, taking left sides right away, getting in and out of pit road. Very clean pit stop for him.
Not even sure that I would have bothered with taking any tires this early on, Cody. Normally at Talladega, you can get away with taking lefts on one cycle and rights on the other cycle. Now, if I'm hanging out there in the back, I want to stay in the back, I will actually take all 4 to extend my pit row time so that I do get a better placement in the rear of the field. You don't really want to be out there in the middle of the field at this point. You want to be either be up front or you want to be in the rear and avoid the carnage. How about it? Mark Jackson, have you got a copy, sir?
Hi, Scott.
Hi, Mark. How are you?
Man, we dodged a bullet right there.
I'm telling you, we had those cameras locked up onto there. You've got an angel riding there on your shoulder. Must have something to do with that PAD logo on the back of that Chevy Silverado. Talk to us about PAD, Mark.
Absolutely. People against distracted driving. Great cause. Great group of people there. All too many times we see on the news where people lose loved ones and people get hurt because of something that is totally preventable. Texting and driving. I mean, it just makes no sense. And we're bringing awareness to it. Just a sad tragedy for someone to lose their life because of a text message, trying to post from Facebook or check your phone, blah blah blah, while you're driving. It just makes no sense.
All right, good words right there. All righty, anything you want to give a shout out there to Mama Patty and Kristen?
I want to give a shout out to my mom, Patty, Kristen, my fiance, and my son Andrew. He's actually watching up there in the stands with me, Andrew Jackson. Tell him hello, Andrew. He's got brain freeze or something. Anyway, they're all here watching. They're up here in the stand, so hopefully we can have a good finish to this race here.
All righty, good luck to you, Mark Jackson.
Thanks, Scotty.
Time for one more quick driver interview, looking at the number 5 of Gary Whitmer Jr. Very nice looking truck being driven by Gary Whitmer Jr. Gary, have you got a copy?
I got you, Scott.
Tell me about that beautiful PAD truck.
The PAD truck is put up by Over the Top Paints and Designs. Got the wrong colored wheels and name schemes this time. I forgot to change them to purple.
Well, that's okay. You know, the truck is purple. You got to have a little bit of off color there. Tell us all about what you do out there in the video world.
Known as GW Graphics, do video productions for KMA TV, commercials, special events, just a little bit of everything.
Alrighty, and your thoughts on tonight's race. Mom Whitmer out there was talking about how you seem to be liking that 11th place position an awful lot. Right now you're in P10. You started out in 11th, you're in P10, you're heading in the right direction. What is your game plan for tonight, Gary?
Stay up front, out of trouble Also, a shout out to Mom and Dad. Love you guys. Thanks for watching.
All right, now I do want to extend this conversation with what you just said. You just said that you're going to stay up front and stay out of trouble. But the first caution there, Gary, it happened up there in position 2.
Yeah, that was a little bit of scary, but this is all, Talladega's a crapshoot, so we'll take our chances.
All righty, good luck to you out there, Gary Whitmer, and appreciate you showing the support for PAD, People Against Distracted Driving.
Yep, big shout out to the Nicky Foundation and Mike Clenny.
Big shout out there to the Nicky Clenny Foundation, indeed, and Mike Clenny. This is the monthly Race for PAD 266, folks. We do this on the first Sunday of every month. Every now and then we'll throw up one just for fun. If you'd like to show your support for PAD, you can find information at padd.org. If you could financially support PAD, they've got some items for purchase, wristbands, t-shirts, all sorts of stuff out there. But I think the number one way you can show your support for PAD is by example. Preach to your kids, preach to your parents, preach to your loved ones, preach it to your enemies. Make sure you're safe out there. When you are behind that wheel, the last thing we need is any of our fans or any of our fans getting into trouble out there on the road due to cell phone usage. And Cody, it just doesn't, it goes past cell phone usage. We're talking about radio flipping, rubbernecking, whistling at the pretty lady walking down the street. Just so many ways we have to stay focused out there.
Yeah, there's so many dangers in the world, and it's just a shame for anybody to have to lose a life like that. I mean, everybody has something to live for, no matter who you are or what you do. You always have something, and to throw it all away just because you don't want to focus on the road is definitely not something. Getting ready to go back to green flag racing. Mark Jackson has the lead, led 5 laps so far, started in second position. Green flag is out, and they are off. Back racing at Talladega.
Jason Russo all over the rear end of Mark Jackson. Donald Studesky, 3rd truck in line, 4th truck in line. Boston Red Sox, number 78 of Donald Stewart. Inside lane, seemingly having a very good run of momentum against that middle lane, dropping back to the 3rd truck on that middle lane, looking at the 02 of Mitchell Reeves, showing his support out here for PAD, driving the Angels Never Die. I do believe that truck was painted up by John Hendrickson, Over the Top Paints and Designs. Beautiful looking truck, purple rims, pink and black. Got a picture of Nicky there on the side. Remembering Nicky, Mitchell Reeves started 5th, currently is in 7th position, getting up to the rear end of the Boston Red Sox. Given plenty of room out there, actually staying away from that yellow line, dropping back up there to the outer lane, and catch back up to the number 28. Now, Gary Whitmer in position 8, and Wally in position 9, keeping their distance. Well, as I say that, Gary Whitmer closes that gap, and Wally Tierheimer heads up to that outer lane. But Wally Tierheimer is going to need to get some help. Going to get some help from the number 77 of Jack Watson. On the rear end of the number 77 is the number 40 of Garrett Potts. Big shout out to Courtney Potts out there on the KMA TV chat. Garrett Watts started 29th, already moved up to position 11.
Lots of moving going on throughout the field. I mean, we did see a little bit earlier that Donald Stewart moved up. I believe it was about 5 or 6 positions. And Mark Jackson hopped 1. A lot of drivers that are just kind of peeked their way forward just a little bit. Just throughout that one rotation of pit stops. 86 laps to go, 1 lead, 1 caution, and 8 lead changes. So right now we're sitting pretty good.
We've got 11 drivers up into this front row. Jack Watts and Garrett Potts battling for that 11th position. Now, in their rearview mirror, they have got the second pack being led by Lee Staples and Dustin Markham. The second pack, Cody, it's a little bit more spread out. In fact, Jack and Lee are leaving that second pack a little bit more organized. I do believe they're going to catch, I do believe the second pack is going to catch this front pack. But I'm thinking the mentality of a few drivers back here near the rear, such as Dave Acacia, they just may want to be hanging out there in the rear and staying safe.
Well, as soon as you get back to Harry Dodd, he's only about 1.2 back, maybe a little bit less than that, off the rear of the front pack. So there is no rush for him to get up there. There's no rush for them to just go up there and start battling side by side just because, just because. I mean, they're only 1.7 off the leaders and only about 1.2 off the back of the pack, so they still are within very good drafting distance as long as they can get those trucks lined up together and stuff like that.
Taking a look at the number 91 of Joe Guy. Joe Guy showing his support for Pad. A lot of logos out there we're seeing tonight. I do believe the most popular logo is that round one on that door jam of the number 91 of Joe Guy. Lee Ryerson, one position back into position 16. And the Angels Never Die as well. Two drivers out here tonight running the Angels Never Die. Looking very sharp out here. Number 1 of Lee Ryerson Jr. in 16th position. On the rear end of Lee Ryerson is Edward Bray, and caution is out. Looking at the number 40 of Garrett Potts, I do know Garrett was involved in it. We're going to back it up, and we're going to see exactly what happened with the number 40 as the second caution is brought out. It does appear there was incidental contact between the number 40 and the number 28, number 28 being driven by. I do believe Chris Boyles. That's a heartbreaker there for the number 40. He was down there on that inside lane and he merged up completely clear of the number 28. Plenty of room, but 28 just a little bit more momentum getting into the number 40. Getting caught up into the second caution is the number 77 of Jack Watts, the number 2 of Dustin Markham. But Wally Tierheimer trying to thread that needle, threaded it, but not quite all the way. Number 1, Lee Ryerson, suffering slight damage as well. Second caution of the night. Ladies and gentlemen, incidental contact between the number 28 and the number 40 on lap 18.
Just a little bit of contact here and there, nothing major. I mean, it is going to put a few drivers probably in pit road taking their last reset, and it might take 1 or 2 drivers out of the race. Not really sure who all got caught up in it, but there is a lucky dog, so more than likely there will be another driver back on the lead lap as well. So lucky break for them, but not so lucky for others, as more than likely we're going to see quite a few drivers hitting into pit road for damage.
Jason Russo, Donald Sadusky, Donald Stewart, and Gary Whitmer and Andrew Schulte. Lee Staples opting to stay out. Several drivers deciding to stay out. As I mentioned earlier, that might be a good decision. I want to get a little bit of information about Donald Stewart in that number 78. How about it, Donald Stewart? Have you got a copy?
Yes, sir. I got you, Scott.
Alrighty. I'm assuming you're a baseball fan.
Well, my father was. He was a big Red Sox fan.
Alrighty. Talk to us a little bit about your night out here with Pad tonight. I see you've got purple lettering. You've got purple numbers. Tell me all about it.
Yeah, I put them on the truck here to show my respect and my support for the PAD organization, People Against Distracted Driving, which everybody really needs to pay attention while they're driving. Every day I'm on the road and I see it every day and I shake my head. People be riding down the road and they're texting on their phone or whatever and not paying attention. So, and it's like 64% if I'm not mistaken, of all of the accidents nowadays is because of distracted driving.
Alrighty, very good information out there. Appreciate you showing the support for PAD. Now, if you're going to help us understand one thing here about the dynamics of the Speedway, the dynamics of the Silverados and Tundras, we're seeing a lot of bumper hooking over the last couple of months since iRacing has adjusted some of their dynamics within the simulator. Why are these trucks so easy to turn?
I think they changed the balance of the truck, to be honest with you. I believe the ass end of the truck is a little bit lighter, and if you don't hit them right square, they're apt to turn, especially if you're in a corner. If you're going down the back straightaway, you can be off center and you can bump them. But if you're going in a corner, you really have to be offset, or better yet, not even bump them in the corner.
Alrighty, copy that. We appreciate the clarification on the ass end. Now, for a lot of people, they'd like to have a light ass end, but out here on these Silverados and Tundras, you want that ass end to have a little bit of weight. Good luck to you tonight, Donald.
Yeah, sorry about that. Thanks, Scott.
Donald Stewart. Drivers are lined up double file. Going to go back to Green Flag Racing. We've got Jason Russo, Donald Sadusky, Donald Stewart, Gary Whitmer, Andrew Schulte out there in the top 5. Lee Staples, Lee Ryerson, Harry Dodd, Paul Pelazier, Dave Casey rounding out the top 10. Big shout out there to the fans at KMA TV. Chris Hogue out there joining us. Good to see you, Chris. Big shout out there to Becky and Kristen and Mama Patty. The mothers out there rooting on the boys. I do remember, Cody, we do have Mother's Day coming up. I do believe 1 week from tonight. You've got a mom, I've got a mom, everybody's got a mom. So make sure we remember our mothers next week.
Most certainly, we definitely will there, Scott. Lights are still on the pace car, so it might take us one more lap to get set for Green Flag Racing. Cars are back to single file. We'll have to see if they decide to double them up this time. Probably some extra debris on the backstretch, something like that to clean up.
Did notice they did throw an extra caution lap in there. Alrighty, well, we're going to take advantage of that, and we're going to talk to our race leader, Jason Russo. Jason Russo started out 12th, right now in first position. How are we doing, Jason?
Doing good. How you doing?
Doing good. A little confused. Did they throw an extra caution lap in there?
I think they might have.
Alrighty, I think they might have too. Hey, appreciate you coming out here showing your support for PAD. We were talking to Donald briefly about the dynamics and the easiness these trucks are turning. Give us your insight on that very quickly.
Yeah, they do seem to be riding really good tonight. Pretty stable. Just hoping we can all calm down and keep it green the rest of the race.
Alrighty, copy that. And a big shout out there to Pro Automotive in Dudley, Massachusetts. Appreciate you sponsoring our upcoming season starting the first week of June. Good luck to you tonight, Jason.
Thanks, Scott. Take care.
Jason Russo, our Tuesday night sponsor. Big shout out there to Pro Automotive. Big shout out there to Greg McClendon, our Friday night sponsor, and Richie B, our Monday night sponsor. And a big shout out there to PAD, People Against Distracted Driving. This is the monthly race for PAD. 266 miles, over 100 laps. I got it right that time, Cody.
There you go, Scott.
Hoping to see some green flag pit stops out here tonight. Drivers can get about 30 to 32 laps maximum of green flag racing, but they are going to have to work together as a unit, work together as a field. Going to have to refrain from not squaring up onto that rear end. Now, with that in mind, Cody, you on the cameras, hopefully we're going to see some of the bumper camera angles so that our fans can get an idea of exactly where these drivers should be. Jason Russo side by side with Donald Sadusky.
Jason and Donald, really close competitors, usually run very well together. Now it looks like the green flag is out and they're off and racing once more. Donald was able to peek out that lap and actually lead that lap. Jason not quite off to the jump that he was hoping for. Now it looks like Jason's going to take that lead back and then some, as he's being pushed on by Donald Stewart. So Donald Stewart giving Jason a great shove down the backstretch, and going into turn 3 and 4, it looks like he will be able to prevail going into the corner.
Taking a look at how carefully. Oh, right there it is. Did you see that right there, Cody? Did you see that bumper hook?
Yeah, it was
What a save there by Jason Russo, but that is exactly what we are talking about.
Yeah, it wasn't a lot, but it was just enough to shake Jason a little bit sideways. Like Donald said, it was a little bit light in the back end of the truck, so it really is able to get squirrely just about anywhere around the track. As we saw earlier on, it was Richard Brose going and turning pretty well dead left and then dead right, and very, very little contact there. A little bit of contact off on the second caution that ended up turning Garrett Potts straight right. So I mean, now we're back into the 2-wide racing that hopefully we can keep the truck straight and true. Definitely going to have to watch out, though, for that bumper hook throughout the rest of the evening, as it's nothing we can do about it while we're sitting inside the race.
Taking a look at Gary Whitmer. Gary Whitmer up second truck on that middle lane. Going to hook up with Jason Russo. They've got Lee Staples in number 64, third truck in line. Gary Whitmer, very solid on through the number 14, actually backing it off a little bit, knowing that he has got to be very careful with what he is doing right now. If he gets too hard into the number 14, he is going to send him spinning. Gary Whitmer doing an awesome job, breathing out, peeking out, trying to get a little bit of air into the intake of the Chevy Silverado. This outside lane right now, keeping pace with that inside lane. All these drivers doing a really good job. 2 cautions in the first 21 laps has settled them down. Gary Whitmer side by side with Donald Stewart.
Yeah, very little side by side. You know, there's no real reason to rush and push anything 3 wide. Jason Russo looks like he's very content with staying where he's at, but at the same time, you know, the courtesy thing, pull out, pull forward, and move out of the way, so that way then the driver behind you can get some air. Stuff like that still probably going to happen, still probably going to go on. But right now there's just no real reason to push, no real reason to go too hard, too fast. Jason very content with riding second, third place right behind Donald Sadusky and Donald Stewart on the inside line. So, I mean, no real reason to push too far, no real reason to hold back too much. So, I mean, obviously these drivers still are in the race mode, but, there's really no reason to go full bore right now.
Checking back in the rear with Travis Browder. Travis Browder started third, got caught up into that very first early caution. Worked his way back up here to position 18, still on the lead lap. Travis Browder, good driver, young driver, driving the number 18 M&M's, part of that rowdy nation. And Travis Browder right now not being very rowdy, knowing he's got to take his time, plenty of time. Cody, we preach to these guys out here about that long haul mentality. Now with 74 to go, it's nowhere near go time. Talk to us about that long haul mentality these drivers need to be in.
Well, really, the long haul is just kind of, you don't want to force the issue. You don't want to push it 3 wide. You don't want anything, too overly aggressive. If they take the spot, back it down, give them the room, so that way then you prevent the caution. And, just keep that mindset that, green flag pit stops, the real deal is going to be here before you know it. It's not even 20 minutes out yet now, and it's just little things here and there. Just kind of let it simmer, let the pot, just simmer until you want it to full boil, and then you crank it up to 10 with 10 laps to go, and you book it all the way up to the front as best as you can, as long as you have nailed those green flag pit stops. But right now, like you said, we're still sitting in the simmer stage. We're sitting in the stage where, you know, the tires are heated up, the drivers are heated up. We're ready to go, but at the same time, we're waiting for that the ticker, the time clock, the laps, all to wind down, so that way then they can say, all right, now it's go time. Now we're through the race. Now we're ready. And whoever makes it up to the front in that perfect amount of time is the person that's going to be able to take the win home tonight.
Taking a look at the number 2 of Dustin Markham. Dustin Markham liking that 3-wide action, racing against Mark Jackson up on that outside lane, settling back down to double file racing. Dustin Markham showing his support for Pad in the purple. I tell you what, you can see that, I do believe, from outer space. So a big shout out there to Dustin Markham. I do want to jump to the very rear, looking at Michael Johnson. Started 18th, currently in 22nd position now. Michael Johnson, owner of AAA Motorsports, big Pad supporter. Michael Johnson is able to share his story. He was involved in a distracted driving accident. He owns it. He takes full responsibility. That is a weight that Michael Johnson has shared on our broadcast with our fans many, many times. I will not go into detail. Hopefully we're going to talk to Michael at some point in time tonight. But I'm showing his support for Pad with that round Don't Drive Distracted Pad logo up there on the hood. One of the newer Pad logos, sharp looking hood on the 004. Now we're also seeing the number 22. Tell us what the significance is of the 22 Pad. The number of Nikki Lenny, I do believe that was her favorite number there. Michael Johnson can do a big checkup as he comes up there onto the rear end of Travis Blabber.
Sorry, Scott, you caught me in the middle of taking a drink right there.
That's
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, that's Nikki's favorite number was 22. Her favorite color was purple. I mean, this whole organization, this whole backing of everybody is really organized all around Nikki and her favorite things, her favorite activities. I mean, obviously this is more of her father's favorite thing to do, and you know, that kind of gets into some of the finer details of the racing and of the background of driving and stuff like that. But I mean, the whole organization for Pad was kind of based all around Nikki Lenny's death, and really when Mr. Kaleni ended up taking over this organization, or bringing this organization up, he figured that, you know, the number one thing that he didn't want to happen was for his daughter's death to be just another one for the books. He really wanted to try to force the notice out there, force the Pad out there, and really put something into the world so that way then his daughter could be remembered for something as great of a cause as Pad.
A lot of great information right there. If you'd like to support Pad, go to PADD.org. The number one way you can truly support Pad is by spreading the word. Now out there on the East Coast, out there in New Jersey, I believe is where the Clemens family is. You know, here in Illinois, nobody knows much about Pad. None of my family had ever heard of people against distracted driving. They all know not to do it, but nobody ever really mentioned it to out here in Illinois. Of course, in Illinois, we have strict phone laws. Not supposed to talk on the phone here in Illinois unless it is hands-free. But again, fans, the best way to really support Pad is to get out there and spread the word, educate. I know that Mike Kaleni spends a good amount of his yearly time writing letters. He's been involved in legislation to pass stricter laws penalizing those that do choose to break the law with distracted driving. Taking a look at the number 31 of Paul Pellissier, Paul Pellizier making his way to the front, 3 wide with Paul and Lee, and the number 8 Nationwide is on the right side, but Paul very close. Very close. Paul driving, number 8 up. All right, well, it's getting hairy. It is getting scary. This is lap 34, settling back down to double file racing. Paul Pellizier showing his support. Ooh, the number 1 of B. Ryerson up and jack slapping onto the side of the number 8. A little bit scary right here on lap 34, but very pretty with all the purple pad. With all the purple pad, looking at the number 2. Number 2 now going 3 wide against Garrett Potts, coming up on Gary Whitmer. That is Dustin Markham and Mitchell Reeves and Chandler Krizek. One more time, heading up to that 3rd lane. Big 3 wide action coming your way, leaders.
3 wide action moving forward very, very fast. Lots of determination in the number 2 truck. So Dustin Markham not only able to get that 3rd line working, but he was able to get everybody up front except for one driver, Chandler Krizek in the 48, not quite able to get down and get cleared, but now Dustin Markham able to drop down and drop low so that way he can drop to the middle line. Now it looks like Mitchell Reeves is going to take a shot for that middle lane.
Keeping a very close eye on this 3rd row of drivers. A couple of them, you know, it's hard to keep these Silverados and Tundras in a perfectly straight line when you are upwards of 198 miles per hour. Alrighty, that looks like they're done with it pretty wide up there in front. Mitchell Reeves getting to where he wanted to be, up there side by side with Donald Dustin. Jason Russo holding a very solid position on that inside lane. Do not believe that he's advanced. He's not dropped back. Right now, Jason Russo very content just to ride. Now to clarify that, Cody, another thing that we tell these drivers, you know, riding is okay. We're all out here driving, but you got 3 stages of it. You got your ride, you got your drive, and then you got your racing. You know, right now, you just need to ride and drive. Let's save that racing for those final 20 laps. Our goal right now is to get into some green flag pit stops. Now, you'll have to refresh my memory, Cody. When do you think these drivers are going to be setting up for their round of green flag pit stops?
Alrighty, green flag pit stops, if I am correct. Our last pit was on lap 20, so next pit stop should be on lap 50, if I am correct. But I do know
so
those are the drivers.
15 laps.
Those were the drivers that ended up pitting in extra. They topped off with fuel and stuff like that, so you might end up actually seeing it a little bit more towards lap 19, lap 18, so probably 48. So yeah, it's about 20 laps out. No, it's about 10 laps out from now.
Now, I do not believe that Jason Russo went in on that last caution, so he may be the first driver to go into pit row. Big move up there by the 02. Mitchell Reeves, he does come down in front of the number 19 of Donald Sadusky. Donald Sadusky running the Ryan Sadusky Memorial Tribute truck side by side with Chandler and Dustin. Now Chandler and Dustin, they're hooked up on the same radio comms. We're going to be seeing Dustin and Chandler working together an awful lot tonight out here in the monthly Race for Pad 266. Jason Russo side by side with the number 2 on lap 39.
So I went back, took a look at my details book, and Jason Russo last pitted on lap 8, so he will have to go into pit road very, very, very shortly here, as he has just completed his 31st lap out here since his last pit stop. Now we did end up having a caution in there, so it may have helped him out, maybe get an extra couple laps in, but he is on a one-stop race from here, so expect the number 14 Pro Automotive truck to be going into pit road in the next 5 laps or so.
Alrighty, well, we're going to keep our cameras up there on the front row wants to see some green flag pit stops out here in the racer pad. Now, another reason that pit stops are so important. I mean, obviously, you got to get fuel. Obviously, you got to get yourself a drink and windshield tear off, and get some new shoes on your feet right there. I might even want to take a time or two for truck. But something else that's going to do, Cody, it is going to break up this field. The more pit stops we have, the field is going to begin to break apart. And just like in today's NASCAR race, if anybody out there had seen that, that's exactly what happened. Today was a very low NASCAR count caution because the drivers were working together. And once they got into those green flag pit strategies, it really broke the pack apart and provided for some really good racing, guys, because everybody knows, it's not that hard to win a race under caution. The challenge is winning it in and out of pit row by a very good green flag pit stop. Chandler Krizek out there on that front line with Mitchell Reeves.
Lots and lots of drivers, lots and lots of action, and now that we're talking about the action out there, Scott, now we have quite a few more races that KMA TV does throughout the week. Usually we have our Monday night series, our Tuesday night series, and our Friday night series, which are all broadcasted throughout the week. We've got that up-and-coming schedule, which is posted on our KMA Racing Facebook page, and we also have the finishing races for that throughout this week. So without the point series right now, currently we do have a couple races coming up next week. Which are we going to now? I don't remember.
Well, on Monday, Cody. On Mondays we always run the Xfinity Class Series. We are on our off week of points. So they're out there running for fun. Jason Russo, Donald Sadusky into pit row, as well as Donald Stewart. Green flag pit stops with Jason Russo and Donald Stewart and Donald Sadusky. But Monday, Cody, we're going to be out there running the Xfinity class at Atlanta. And on Tuesday, we're going to run the trucks, and we're going to be at Pocono. Oh no, it's Pocono. We always drop Pocono down to 75 laps instead of our normal 100 because the caution laps at Pocono, they are so long. So we get it down to 75 laps on Thursday. We're going to be running Daytona. I may go on and screen that one there, but usually that is not broadcasted. On Friday, in our Friday night flight series, we're going to be sitting over at Talladega. And on Saturday, we're actually going to run Auto Club. We're going to give the normal Speedway on Saturday a break. So Saturday, Auto Club, Friday, Talladega, Tuesday, Pocono, and on Monday, Atlanta. Going to be a good week out there.
Always going to be a great week. We always love running out here at KMA Racing. I really like working the cameras out here because it's a lot of fun to be able to sit back, relax, point the cameras where they need to go, and not really have any pressure of being the driver. There's so much that happens inside that race car that you have to make sure is perfect. I mean, we just watched the pit road, and it looked like the 64 of Lee Staples may have gotten into the wall and into the number 5 of Gary Whitmer. No damage as far as I could see, but it may have caused them to lose quite a bit of the draft and may have broken up that pack a lot more than what was expected.
Well, that will put Gary Whitmer back there in position 19 and pretty much flying solo. Now, Gary Whitmer flying solo is at 177 miles per hour, as opposed to our re-race leader, Dustin Markham, sitting up there at 198. So Gary Whitmer needs to try to hook up with somebody, looking like he's possibly got some reinforcements on his way. But the driver behind Gary Whitmer, the green driver, trying to get a number on that truck, he is way below race speed.
Yeah, there's a lot of drivers that are below pace speed right now just because of green flag pit stops. I believe we should be seeing some more here within a couple of minutes as Dustin Markham, Chandler Kurzek, Mitchell Reeves, Mark Jackson, Paul Pellizier, and Jack Watts should be needing to go into pit road, along with Dave Arcadia and Kevin Scott Nelson. Outside of that, I believe everybody else should have went into pit road. We did end up seeing Travis Browder, Andrew Schulte, Wally Tierheimer, and the 28 of Chris Voiles all head into pit road as well. So Chris Voiles being 1 lap down, but we'll be able to get that lap back if we do end up seeing another caution.
Well, and I tell you what else. Right now we do have Garrett Potts, Lee Ryerson, Lee Staples, Gary Whitmer, Chris Voiles, all 1 lap down. Now the good thing about losing that pack draft, if there is going to be another caution, Cody, it's going to come up here in the heavily populated area of this speedway, which basically means for Gary back there, he's in a very safe place. So, you know, he if the caution does come out, he'll be able to avoid that carnage, do what he's got to do. Hopefully he will get that lucky dog, that Garrett Potts, Lee Ryerson. Also hoping for that Garrett Potts actually the driver in line for that lucky dog. Up in front, Dustin and Chandler, Mitchell Reeves, Mark Jackson, and Paul Pellizier are top 5. Seeing a lot of purple pad out there up in front.
Yeah, there's a lot of purple pad out in front. There's a lot of pad all the way around this racetrack, whether or not it's just the logo sitting on the truck or if it's custom designed. As
Chandler Kurzek.
We were able
Chandler
to just
Kurzek.
watch that live. Dustin Markham in the number 2 truck ended up taking a spin, going for a little bit of a ride right there. Great job by all the drivers to avoid that one.
All right, Cody, walk us through that replay.
And to take you inside the chopper here, as we're going to take that one in a slow-mo. We did end up watching the 48 of Chandler Kurzek end up going a little bit on the high side. That wasn't even a bumper hook. That was a straight-up miscommunication, misturned right there, as it wasn't really Chandler going down, but he was inside the bottom lane, and on the outside of his partner, Dustin Markham, ended up pretty well turning him right, straight towards the wall. Great job by all the drivers to avoid the wreckage and keeping that a single car spin.
All righty, we are at the halfway point. All right, Cody, let's take a quick commercial break. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, a big shout out there to PAD. This is the Race for PAD 266, brought to you by PAD in association with MaxMount. Check them out at padd.org. On Facebook as well, check out MaxMount at maxmount.com. Doing their part to keep your cell phones in a safe place, mounted up there onto the dash, so your hands can be clear to keep you safe. We are underneath caution. We are just past the halfway point, lap 51, 48.9 to go, 23 lead changes, 3 caution laps, 3 cautions totaling 6 laps. Jason Russo, Travis Browder, Donald Stewart, Andrew Schulte, and Wally Tierheimer. Wally Tierheimer in 5th place tonight.
So far, we've had a pretty good race. 23 lead changes, 3 cautions, nothing to cry over. I mean, really, we're just getting past our halfway point. So, really, really happy with how this race has gone so far. Only seeing 3 cautions, quite surprising. Very good, solid racing with 23 lead changes. I mean, we've had battles back and forth, side by side, all night long so far. Really can't wait to see what happens once we get these 2 other drivers, which will bring us to 15 total back on the lead lap as soon as the lights do end up going off the pace car. So gonna have to see what they decide to do with that free pass and with that free wave buy. So gonna be fun, gonna be interesting to see how they end up going through the rest of this race, who's gonna try to set up for what, whether or not they expect another caution or expect this to go green to the end. Lights are off the pace car.
Jason Russo lined up side by side with Travis Browder. Travis Browder down onto that inside, Jason Russo up onto that outside. Now talk to us about the restart here, Cody. Inside, outside lane, is there a difference?
There's no difference, but there is a preference. Because of the driver behind you, you always want to be working with somebody, someone being a teammate or someone being a person you know or a person that you can trust to push you all the way to the end. Right now, Jason Russo, he's got a pretty good spot sitting right in front of Donald Stewart. Not a tactic I am very familiar with, being that it is iRacing. We don't have the cone where you can pick lanes, but I guess Edward Bray probably said something about it, or could be talking to him about it being okay as long as he stays ahead of Travis Browder.
Alrighty, copy that, and you are absolutely right about that. A little bit unorthodox right there. But we're going to see how it works out. Now, looking at the teammate situation, we've got Travis Browder lined up with Andrew Schulte and Jason Russo lined up with Donald Stewart. But Wally and Paul back there in positions 5 and 6 to be with their respective teammates. Well, they need to do a little flipperoonie. They're on wrong sides of the track right here to be lined up with their Max Velocity and KMA Racing teammates. Jason Russo, big start out there, pulling the fast one there on Travis Browder. Jason Russo, Donald Stewart down into that inside lane.
That was a huge jump. Jason ended up shooting out of there like a speeding bullet right now, as Donald Stewart was not far behind him. Being that they're on the same radio communications, my guess is that they were hooked up and ready to go before the green flag even flew. So right now, Jason and Donald out there by themselves, with fighting side by side with Travis Browder, Andrew Schulte, and Wally Tierheimer. So interesting enough. Gonna have to see how that 2 against 3 works out until the rest of the pack ends up catching back up to him.
Well, you know, Cody, the rest of that pack is pretty spread out. Looking back there at Paul Pelizier and David Cassia, and you know, they are catching them. I'm a little surprised they're catching them, actually. Usually the numbers roll, but Travis and Andrew and Wally on that little lane making things happen. Travis and Andrew are clear. Not anymore, as Jason comes barreling back up that inside lane, and indeed, this pack is once again getting bigger.
The first pack is reforming. The second pack is still working on itself, as everybody's trying to figure out where they want to sit, how they want to sit for the next 40-some laps until we get ready to go hardcore green flag racing to the checkered. So really right now this is nothing but a setup stage. This is where you figure out what the truck has, figure out where you want to sit, how you want to sit. Now remember that Jason did not pit. As far as I know, I do not believe he went into pit road. So that means that he's going to be pretty light on fuel. He has a very fast truck. We know he can keep up. We know he has a very good amount of confidence to continue in with what he's got going. But it's going to be tight on whether or not he can make it from where he stands, as far as I know. I do believe before he was about 2 laps short, he was going to barely make it on lap 42, so now it's a one-stop race for just about everybody. See whether or not Jason's fuel load can be enough to make it to lap 70.
Now I am looking here at Harry Dodd. Interesting situation for Harry Dodd. He is in position 9th, but hasn't got a partner. And Gary Whitmer and Michael Johnson come tearing by Harry Dodd. Oh no, Michael Johnson, he's playing the old peekaboo right there, having some connection issues, watching him play Houdini and disappear and then reappear. Hopefully his connection will stay solid, because right now Gary Whitmer needs some. Gary Whitmer able to get 1 laps back. Michael Johnson having some serious issues right there with the connection. Gary Whitmer still 1 lap down, but they have got a pack tearing down on him. Not up here in the flip, Cody. And I tell you what, Gary Whitmer, Harry Dodd, they have got a freight train coming down on them.
Even from the chopper view, you can tell how far or how fast these drivers are moving compared to the others. I mean, there's a good 5-mile-per-hour difference. Yeah, you're right, there's 3 wide, lots of 3 wide that was going on there. See, now, the rule is slower traffic has to yield to the leaders. Now, the interesting part about that is when you're above typically 190 miles per hour, you're technically not slower traffic. So realistically looking at it, they were not liable, or they weren't going to cause a wreck or cause a caution if they stayed on the inside, but it was probably more for the best of their interest to go high, a lot like the 004 of Michael Johnston did.
Jack Watts, Harry Dodd coming up fast onto the number 19 of Donald Sadusky and number 3 of Mark Jackson. Trapped down into that inside lane as Jack Watts and the 02 of Mitchell Reeves and the number 1 of Lee Ryerson. Now that's a good camera shot right there. Mitchell Reeves and Lee Ryerson looking cute as a button. A couple of Twinkies in a box, matching trucks. They're not teammates, they are just both out here supporting. Angels Never Die, Nikki Kalenny. Big shot out there to Mitchell Reeves and Lee Ryerson. Purple Pride right there. But Jack Watts is now hooked up to the number 3 of Mark Jackson, trying to force their way around the number 19 of Donald Sadusky and Harry Dodd. Harry Dodd sitting in at 11th place, started 23rd, running a fast lap of a 48.528 in comparison to Travis Browder with a 48.424 and Garrett Potts with a 48.494. So all these drivers right now running right there mid 48s. Pretty quick lap times.
Yeah, they're all kind of running a little bit higher than that, actually. It's about high 48s, about 48.9 or so was the previous lap for Jason Russo, and lots and lots of other drivers behind him. So, I mean, it's fast laps, but at the same time, they're not breaking speed records. There's no real reason to be breaking speed records. We got 3 wide up in front. Looks like Jason Russo being stuck with Monkey in the middle right there. Not sure what happened, but we did end up catching that. Still stuck in the middle of Andrew Schulte and the 224 of Kevin Scott. So looks like he'll try to continue staying in that middle lane and trying to drive his way back up towards the front.
Joining us in the booth is my good friend Ronald Klein with RTK Motorsports. Now, Ronald, have you got a copy?
Yes, sir. How are you doing, Scott?
Doing good. Unfortunately, you were not able to make tonight's race, but you're up there in the stands rooting these drivers on. Not only are you in the stands, you're up there on the KMA Race Chat channel. Talk to us about the atmosphere in the race channel. How are the guys getting along up there?
Sounds like the guys are getting along absolutely fantastic. Everybody's trying to plan together and, get a game plan going on for the remainder of this race.
All right, now Cody and I have been talking a lot about these bumper hooks, and I know you're watching that KMA TV feed. Right now we're looking at Wally and Andrew and Jason Russo not quite squared up. Give us your thoughts on all the bumper hooking that's been happening lately in these Silverados and Tundras.
Yeah, with this latest package that they released, it's really, really important to get squared away on the bumper if you're going to bump, and for the most part we're trying not to push through the corners anymore because that'll get you in trouble. If you get off center just a little bit, like you said, they call it a bumper hook, and it'll spin the truck faster in the time. So.
Alrighty, now tell us real quick about RTK Motorsports.
RTK Motorsports is my racing company. Started out dirt track racing, decided I've got to have a name for it, and kind of carried that over into the simulator racing. Just got into simulator racing about 6 months ago and really enjoying it, and really glad I found a place like KMA right off the bat. I'm a very fortunate person. I found KMA and didn't really do anything before that, so I've seen other leagues now after the fact, and I feel blessed that I was able to be accepted into KMA.
All right, well, thank you for the kind words, and we are blessed to have a high-caliber driver such as yourself. Not only that, another driver bringing real-life experience into the simulator world. That's always handy-dandy. All right, Ronald, I'm going to let you go as we're watching Wally go 3 wide.
Roger that. Thanks, Scott. Have a great race.
Alrighty, Wally was going 3 wide, backing it back down into that double file formation. Still fishing on the number 18 of Travis Brother. I'm really touched, Cody, that these drivers, they're out there contacting their painters a lot on the, just about every night, but especially here on Sundays. A lot of these drivers out here showing their support for Pat.
Yeah, everybody tries to show a little bit of support here and there, and KMA Racing, we've been here for 4 years now, and we've really grown from the start of the ground up. We started, you started with, I believe it was about 3 drivers, and then, you started adding a few, and I came in, and then a lot of the other great admins and all the other great drivers came in, and then we started getting, into the business end of things, and then, we ended up getting affiliated with PAD, and then we kind of cleaned it up a little bit, and, just kind of kept moving ourselves forward, got into real-life sponsorships and stuff like that for Pro Automotive, Blaze Pizza, Richie B's, all those guys, and then we started doing broadcasting, and we've just kind of kept developing and continuing ourselves forward, and it's grown so much over the years and over the past couple of months, really, that it's amazing to just see what kind of racing iRacing has been able to provide for us, and provide the tracks and provide the cars and the equipment and all of that, just through simple little details and simple little things, and KMA, we've grown, we've expanded and accepted into what we are now, and really I'm very glad to see that we've been able to do everything that we do, and really grow to be what we have become.
Taking a look at our race leader, we're going to take a quick look at our running order. What we've got here, Cody, we have got two pretty good-sized packs. So we're going to start up here with Travis Browder, Donald Stewart, Paul Elazier, Wally Tierheimer, David Casia, Jason Russo, Kevin Scott Nelson, and Andrew Schulte running up in that front pack. But just about a stone's throw in the rearview mirror, we have Donald Sadusky, Mark Jackson, Harry Dodd, Jack Watts, Garrett Potts, Mitchell Reeves, Lee Ryerson. So we're looking at this is a 9-on-10 pack race. I do believe that we're going to finish up tonight's race under green flag circumstances because, as I mentioned, the pack has disintegrated. We're two smaller packs, and that definitely decreases the chance of another caution coming out.
Well, not only does that decrease the chances, but we are only about 5 laps away from another set of green flag pit stops. So keep your eyes open, keep your eyes peeled for that second set to be starting just about any time now. I do know that Jason Russo is one of the ones that have to go in along with a couple of the other front pack drivers. So expect him to need to go in a very, very short amount of time.
Jason Russo moving his way up into that 4th place position. This is lap 69 of 100. 31 laps to go. 32 lead changes. 3 cautions. Drivers doing a great job. Paul Elazier side-by-side racing against Travis Browder. Travis Browder leading 8 laps tonight. Jason Russo leading 22. Paul leading 2. And Donald Stewart leading 4. But 22 laps out here being led by Jason Russo. That is definitely a feat.
That is a huge number, and more than likely not too many people have a chance of even catching that up to that number. I think your best chance is the number 18 of Travis Browder, and if possible, if he can get back up there, Mark Jackson. He smashed last night the amount of laps that he was able to lead. I mean, I believe he led almost half the race. Just under half the race was led by Mark Jackson last night, if I am correct. I believe it was him, but it was still an amazing race last night, and great racing going on tonight. 3 cautions, 33 lane changes, and that's going to change a couple more times yet before we end up hitting that checkered flag. Drivers should be set up and ready to go into pit road for green flag pit stops.
We are staying with our race leaders, but we are going to check in with a couple other drivers. We do have Chris Boyles, our first driver, a lap down. Gary Whitmer sitting back in position 18 has once fallen down to 1 lap down. 3 wide action up in the front with Travis, Jason, and the number 8 Nationwide is on the outside. Jason Russo dropping back down into that inner lane. Looking like, indeed, possibility of green flag pit stops coming up. Now, they are within that window. Andrew in the number 8 going 3 wide on the number 31, Paul Elazier. And that's going to cost both those drivers a little bit of time. Number 31 pulling down into that inside lane, leaving the number 18 high and dry on the outer lane. Hopefully he will be able to drop down, and he does, and he is dropping down behind the number 224, representing Michigan, Kevin Scott Nelson. Now, Kevin started out 27 and has moved up into position 6, possibly our big mover of the night. Number 224, Kevin Scott Nelson. Travis Browder leading lap 72.
right now on the far chase of Wally Tierheimer. Not yet to lead any laps, but he is in prime position to do so. He is in 8th place, right on the tail end of the lead pack. So he's still got the lead pack draft, and we do have green flag
Jason
pit stop.
Russo. A whole bunch of them's going into pit row. We've got Donald Stewart. We have got Travis Browder. We've got the number 28 of Chris Voles and Andrew Schulte. Travis Browder, Wally Tierheimer. We've got a whole bunch of KMA guys and a whole bunch of maximum velocity drivers. Pick a driver and talk us through this pit stop.
Alrighty, right now we're watching Jason Russo take right sides. Looks like he'll probably only take right sides. He was, I believe, right around 3rd position when he went into pit road. Might have taken a little bit too long on that pit stop. Will come out right around 3rd position. Ooh, that got really tight right there as he skimmed by Paul Pellizier on the 3-wide situation that he was going in. Now, a lot of people don't know this, but the spotters in iRacing do not do very much communication exiting pit road, not until you get back up onto the track. So that was a situation in which Jason had full view vision and was just trying to get out of it. Now we have Travis Browder and Jason Russo hooked up back onto the track, moving at 180 plus miles per hour.
Now, I'll tell you something else about those spotters. They're not always accurate. I mean, they're going to tell you cars outside, but just like in real life, I mean, there is this thing called human error, and sometimes they're about 1/10 of a second off, which basically means when your spotter says you're clear, well, if you go as soon as you hear the CL, you're not clear. You want to wait until you hear the R. You're clear, then make the move. Don't make the move as you hear it. So the drivers, they've got a lot of gauges to watch. They've got a spotter to listen to. They've got to listen to their own teammates. Looking at our current race leaders, Dave Acacia in the number 20 and the number 224 of Kevin Scott Nelson. That will put Harry Dodd into 3rd position. But Harry Dodd, the lone runner out there, not a good position for Harry Dodd to be in right now.
No, really, I'm not liking where Dave Arcadia is or Kevin Scott Nelson, just because those two are sitting pretty well by themselves. I mean, they really don't have much draft help. They're moving a little bit slow. They're only moving about 190, whereas the second pack about 195. So, I mean, right now, the first pack, they're not moving too fast. Second pack, moving a little bit faster. Harry Dodd in the 27, 3rd place, is going into pit road.
All right, green flag pit stop there for Harry Dodd. Harry Dodd representing Carolina in the green and black Chevy Silverado, taking those right sides, only taking those right sides. Harry Dodd pulling out of pit row for a green flag pit stop on lap 76. Back up to our race leader, Dave and Kevin. And these drivers should be going into pit row just about any time.
They might be waiting out for possible caution, but if they're doing that, they've only got about 2 laps of fuel remaining, so you might want to make up that decision pretty quick. I mean, my math could be off, but I do believe they should have to go into pit road here very, very shortly. Usually you go in with the bigger pack or you wait until you run out. So it's going to be interesting to see what Dave and Kevin decide to do for the next 20 laps or so.
Checking in on Mitchell Reeves, currently in 10th position. Mitchell Reeves starting 5th, moving on up to position 9 as they do blow by slower traffic, with Mitchell Reeves right now in danger of losing the draft, trying to get caught back up to the number 66 of Edward Bray. Does appear he is getting a bit of a run. Edward Bray on the rear end of the number 40. The 40 up. Garrett Potts, big shot out there too. Courtney and their upcoming little bundle of joy. Hopefully Garrett and Courtney will keep us informed on that. Garrett Potts pushing on the rear end of Gary Whitmer Jr. Gary Whitmer Jr. in the 17th position. Unfortunately, 1 lap down. Edward Bray side by side with Garrett Potts trying to make something happen. Now, Cody, talk to us about the speed of the trucks as far as double file versus single file.
You know, last night we saw that double file was a little bit faster. It wasn't working as well single file as it was double. So, I mean, there's so many theories, so many things that people can say about it, but realistically, it all depends on how the truck handles, how you want to push it, who's pushing, how they're doing, and everything like that. So, really, there's not a lot of differences. There's not a lot of truth to be told on side-by-side racing versus not side-by-side racing. So realistically, right now they're moving as fast as they possibly can go, side-by-side or single file. We'll have to see whether or not it helps out their speeds much. Doesn't seem like it has any yet, but we will have to continue to watch to see if the leaders catch them any faster or if they're able to pull away.
Dave Casey and Kevin Scott Nelson up there in position 1 and 2, and Kevin Scott into pit row. David Casey into pit row. Green flag pit stops looking at the number 20 of David Casey, bringing her down to 59 miles per hour. Green flag pit stops one more time. Dave Acacia and Kevin Scott Nelson, P1 into pit row on lap 79. That will put Jason Russo and Travis Browder, Paul Pelliser, Wally Terheimer, Chris Foles, and Andrew Schalta in a very good spot. Now, assuming this does go green, this kind of like really provides an interesting perspective, because right now, team-wise, we've got Jason. He needs to stay hooked up with the number 31 of Paul Pelliser, and we know that Travis and Wally and Chris and Andrew, they are going to stay hooked up with Maximum Velocity. So it's going to be an interesting situation to see who do you love in the last 20 laps of the race for PAD 266. Check them out, padd.org.
Yeah, it's really going to come down to who you can get along with the best, because honestly, Jason and Paul, they may be outnumbered, but at the same time, I've seen trucks outnumber trucks 3 to 1 and still be able to maintain speed and maintain position. So, going to be interesting to see how they control the field, control the pack, and this is really where the lap drivers are going to come into play, whether or not they are able to latch on or if they're able to catch up. Or usually this is where we get our late race caution too, so you know, it's all going to come down to whether or not they're able to catch a break or if they're going to have to ride it out like they are.
Now, something else we may see develop here, looking at the number 28 of Chris Loyles. Now, he is up here with the race leaders, but Chris Loyles is actually 1 lap down, and he is in position for the lucky dog. Gary Whitmer Jr. will be the next driver in position. So if the caution does happen, God forbid that caution coming out up here, but if Chris were to get caught up into the next caution, that lucky dog position would automatically float to Gary Whitmer Jr. And Gary Whitmer Jr. is riding along with Edward Bray and Garrett Potts, a very good position, actually, caution dependent. But if they can get the number 28 of Chris Voles in front of Jason Russo, that will put him back onto the lead lap. He will be at the tail end of the lead lap being pushed by the leader. And again, in that situation, if caution would fly up here with Jason Wally and Travis, well, Chris Voles would be able to safely drive his way around the track, land at the rear of the field, and again, that would give Gary Whitmer Jr. Big move there by Jason Russo, 3 wide. Wally Tierheimer falling back into line. Did not think that Wally was expecting that one there. And again, we're talking about that little bit of a spot or delay. That was a very tight move up there by Jason Russo. He may have actually had that plan, because I think it's going to work out. Right now we are getting into the final 17 laps of the race for Pad 266. Cody, talk to us about go time.
Go time is definitely within the next 7 to 8 laps. I'm thinking that before we do end up hitting that go time, these drivers are still getting set and getting where they want to be. I'm thinking we should probably take our last set of commercial breaks. That way we can go commercial free from here.
Alrighty, sounds good. Take it away, Cody. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, big shout out there to our sponsors here with KMA Racing, Green Flag Racing, watching our race leaders, Jason Musso, Paul Pellizer, Travis Browder, Wally Tierheimer, and the number 8 of Andrew Schulte, lap traffic of the number 28 of Chris Voles, trying to help out his teammates. 14 laps to go, Cody. These drivers are good on fuel. Do you have a prediction early on?
Early on predictions, well, see, my predictions can really alter throughout the race and how everybody else is doing because, I mean, you still have a lot of racing to go yet. This is still a lot of miles for these drivers to have to log. We've still got 15 laps, 14 laps, now 13 laps to go. Jason is in a pretty good position. Paul's in a pretty good position. The people that are in great positions right now are Wally Tierheimer, Travis Browder, and Andrew Schulte, primarily because those three, they're on the lead lap. They are all on the same radio communications, and they outnumber the drivers of Jason and Paul 2-1. So, good positions looking forward, but at the same time, 3 wide hits, it could really come down to the end.
With 13 laps to go, I do want to take one more look at all the drivers throughout the field. So we're going to start there in the rear with the number 66 of Edward Bray. Edward Bray is in position 18. He is 4 laps down, being pushed on by the 02 of Mitchell Reeves. Mitchell Reeves is in 6th position. We have number 40 of Garrett Potts. Garrett Potts is in position 7. So Garrett and the number 40 of Garrett and the number 2 of Mitchell Reeves, the positions 6 and 7, working with Gary Whitmer Jr. in position 17 and Edward Bray in position 18. So two lead lap drivers working with
Contact, caution, will fly.
All right, we're going to back that one up, Cody. We do know that Donald Stewart got involved into it, the number 224. All righty, looking at the number 1 of Lee Ryerson, barely coming into contact with the number 20 of Dave Acacia. Dave Acacia going for a right turn. Dave Acacia actually, unfortunately, getting into the number 78. And the number 19, he got a 2-for-1, and the 224, Jack Watts and Harry Dodd threading that needle. All right, that's what I saw, Cody. Tell me what you seen.
I saw just about the same exact thing. I mean, really, it was just a little bit of a bumper turn. Ended up turning the rest of that pack right there, and that's really why Talladega, it is so unpredictable. I mean, we were expecting to go green flag racing to the end, and 10 laps to go or 11 laps to go, and we have a caution. There's really no way to predict Talladega right now. That was an unexpected turn, but man, there's just so much that happened in such a short amount of time.
Unexpected turn of events, indeed. Going to give us a chance to get in touch with a couple of drivers and get their thoughts. Looking at the number 40 of Garrett Potts. How about it, Garrett Potts? Have you got a copy?
What's going on, Scott?
Pretty good night, but we did not see that final caution coming out happening up there in the front and that notorious bumper hook. But I'm pretty sure that you and Edward and Gary probably were kind of thankful to see that happen. What do you think?
Sorry I couldn't hear a little bit. There was so much going on the other channel, but we worked our way and we stayed together. Me, Mitchell, Gary, and Edward, we worked really good through those laps. We were making time before the pit stop, and then we just got spread out. But we were holding our time there, and now with this late caution, it's really put us into a pretty good spot. So we're going to see how this turns out. It's going to be a 10-lap shootout, so there's no telling what could happen.
All right, well, we're looking and seeing that you started 29th near the rear, and looking at about an 8-lap shootout. You're going to be in a very good position, but would you rather be up there a little bit further, or is right there in 6th place? Are you feeling very comfortable right now?
I tell you, I'd like to be in front of Travis Bryder and Wally. I think they are going to be really hard to pass, but we're definitely going to give them everything we got. They might get the old bumper horn to see what, let them know, hey, I'm back here, but we're going to try for it.
All righty, good luck to you, Garrett.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, Garrett Putz. Moving on up, going to take a look at the 07 of Mitchell Reeves. How about a Mitchell Reeves if you got a copy?
You got you, Scott.
All righty, talk to us about your race so far. You ended up in a pretty good position after that last caution.
Yeah, it's been kind of a crazy race. We've avoided a good bit of wrecks tonight. We salvaged able to save our quick repair there for a long time, which I think ended up hurting us and got stuck back in traffic. But I've been praying for a caution the last 10 or 15 laps after I realized we couldn't get them, and it looks like I'm about to start going to church more often. It paid off, so we got a chance at it now.
All righty, tell us about Mitchell Reeves, the race car driver.
Yeah, I do a lot of drag racing on the weekends. We just started our annual point series for the local track I'm at Holiday Beach. We're going to be doing some more live feed here in about 2 weeks. Having to do a little bit of changes with my phone, so I'm not able to do that. But if you guys are interested in some drag racing videos and car footage, check me out on Mitchell Reeves at Facebook. If we're not there, we're having a blast here at KMA like we are here tonight at Talladega.
All right, most importantly, though, looking at the paint job, driving the Angels Never Died, brought to you by Old Top Paints and Designs. Talk to us a little bit about PAD.
Well, PAD has been a wonderful organization. I've been racing with a lot of these guys for a long time. Mike Collini has done just an amazing job with this whole entire organization, nonprofit organization he has brought for his fallen daughter, Nikki. And it's a lot of fun always to support this, And one thing that's the main thing to say about it is, just distracted driving. It's killed a lot of lives. I've had some friends that have been affected by it, and it's never fun to have to go through that. And fortunately, we all get to do this once or twice a month for a wonderful cause, and we all are undistracted and have a blast. And a perfect example is we just went almost 40 laps without a caution, and you can't do that distracted. So if that doesn't show you what to do out on the roads, I don't know what does.
All righty, great words. Thank you for your time, Mitchell.
Southeast out.
Mitchell Reeves, running for Southeast and Motorsports. All right, game changer, Cody. Paul Pellizier leading 9 laps. Jason Russo leading 28. Travis Browder leading 10. Wally Tierheimer has yet to lead a lap. But the only lap that really matters, Cody, is that final one. we're going to be looking at a 8-lap shootout, 7-lap shootout, possibly. Drivers still have, nope, they're lined up double file. Do you think we're done with cautions, Cody?
I am certainly hoping we will be, because we're only going to have 2 laps before we end up hitting the make or break point, which, as most of our fans know, that's kind of the area where it's kind of the area where either we go caution free or we end under caution. So I mean, we can go either way, but we still hope that we can continue with the green flag runs that we've had. I mean, we've had great racing already tonight, and finishing out with 5 cautions would still be great. I mean, finishing out with 4 would obviously be better, but we've still had 42 lead changes, which is an immense amount. And tonight, Jason Russo ended up leading the most laps pretty easily. Nobody else can touch him. So 28 laps led by Jason Russo. Paul Pelizier's led 10 so far, like you said. I mean, there's just so much back and forth that has been going on, but still, Jason still leading well over a quarter of the lap. So looking forward to seeing what's going to happen for the remaining 8 laps. Going to be fun to watch. 15 spots gained. Let's see if he can finish it out right there for Paul.
Now that will put Gary Whitmer 1 lap down in that lucky dog position. First driver a lap down. That just carries in side by side. Paul Pelizier, Jason Russo, Travis Browder, Wally Tierhammer, and Garrett Potts in position 5, and away they go, taking lap 93 of 142 lead changes. That is a lot of battling up there right now. Paul Pelizier and Jason Russo running for KMA Racing, trying to control the remaining 7 laps.
That's all they have to do, is try to control the inside and the outside line all the way up until you start seeing that 3rd line form. As you can watch Garrett Potts in the number 40 just give Wally just a little bit of a shove, and you know, you keep seeing that Wally move side to side. It's Garrett right behind him saying, "Hey, I'm here, man. I'm on your bumper. I'm going to drive past you somehow, some way, as soon as I get a chance." Travis Browder up to the high line in front of Jason Russo. Now it looks like it's going to be Maximum Velocity going to be fighting side by side with it. Now it looks like he's cleared down to the low line. Well, no, we got caution is out.
Unfortunately, that looks like the number 78 making contact with the number 77. Well, I'm not going to point fingers right here in any way, shape, or form, because that was racing is racing. But there was definite contact between the number 78 of Donald Stewart and the number 77 of Jack Watts, as the left front quarter panel of the 78 makes contact with the rear right quarter panel of the number 77. That will bring out our 5th caution of the night. Only those 2 drivers involved, so that's a good thing. But I tell you what, heartbreaker right there for Jack Watts and Donald Stewart. 5th caution of the night.
Very disappointing to see that caution come out, but one person I'm pretty sure is pretty happy that it came out is probably the number 5 of Gary Whitmer, as it looks like, I believe he was the first driver 1 lap down, did not get any contact, no scrubbing, no rubbing, no racing incidents, so he should be getting that lap back if I am correct. I'm not 100% positive on that yet, but it looks like he will be able to pass around the outside of all the drivers and the pace car. We should get 1 lap to green. I'm hoping, as short as these caution laps have been so far tonight. Just going to have to wait and see, though.
Alrighty, I am hoping that Gary Whitmer will get that free pass. While we are underneath caution, I do want to talk to Edward Bray. How about it, Edward? Get the cock, sir.
How you doing, Scott?
Good, sir. Glad to see you were still in it. You had some difficulties there at the very beginning. Do you believe you had some connection issues? Is that correct?
Yeah, it is. We had a little bit of electronic problems. We're stuck in the pits for 4 laps and got one back, but then lost again. So I'm just right now here trying to help my teammates.
And we had those cameras on you quite a while back there with Gary Whitmer, and it does look like Gary Whitmer's going to get that lucky dog, Cody. So good job, and Edward, you were back there being a team player. Talk to me about the Chevy Silverado paint.
This is the Black Talon pad truck that I painted up. I'm also sporting a sort of a new advertisement sponsor like for it's Bikers Against Child Abuse. So it's something that could be a race in the future. That's what I'm checking on and looking into. So keep a lookout for that, Scott.
Alrighty, copy that. Now we're looking at about a 2-lap shootout. Is that going to be correct?
Yes.
Alrighty, now you are 4 laps down. Obviously, you're not going to be able to win tonight's race. Have you got a rear end up there you're going to try to get it hooked onto?
Whoever is in front of me that's on my team, I'm going to push until I can't push no more.
Alrighty, sounds like a plan. Thank you for the support of Pat, Edward.
Thanks, Scott. And thanks you for this great broadcast.
Big shout out there to Edward Bray. Now, earlier, folks, and Cody, we were talking about the many things that go into doing what we're doing, and I tell you what, you and I have been doing this here. You've been part of my team for about 4 years. Edward Bray found us about a year ago, and with me getting all super busy up here in the booth, and you having higher demands as you do advance on up from the youth to the adult world, I'm seeing a little bit less of you, unfortunately. But Edward has really stepped up with the team, allowing me to get up here into the booth and on the cameras. And I tell you what, a lot of guys here at KMA Racing working hard, and that is one of the things you hear me talking about family a lot. And the KMA Racing family, it cannot be rivaled. It is simple as that, you know. And we talked to one driver tonight, Ronald Klein, talking about how blessed he is, and I am blessed to have the backbone and the support, not only by the drivers but by the fans, the sponsors, Pad, Richie B's, Blaze Pizza, and Pro Automotive. Travis Browder, Paul Pellizier, Jason Russo, Andrew Schultz, and Wally Tierheimer. Rounding out our top 5, Mitchell Reeves, Garrett Potts, Harry Dodd, Donald Sadusky, Dave Acacia. Rounding out the top 10, and Chris Boyles, Gary Whitmer Jr., position 12, Mark Jackson P13, 1 lap down in that lucky dog position.
Sadly, even if he does end up getting the lucky dog, that means something did go terribly, terribly wrong. Now, luckily, I do believe we will be getting 1 lap of green flag racing. Very interesting situation. It's going to be who can get to the 3rd line fastest, whether or not it's going to be Travis Browder or Jason or Andrew Schulte up here in the front. It's going to be interesting to see whether or not they decide to just try to freight train the outside, freight train the inside, or if they're just going to go from where they want to try to sit. I'm pretty sure Travis is going to go on green, but oh boy, this is going to be, it's going to be a interesting finish.
It'll be very interesting indeed. But you know, they may surprise us, and you know, how much can you really make happen in 2 laps? Let's just say we are Wally Tierheimer. Is Wally Tierheimer going to be better off accepting his placement with a 1-lap shootout, or trying to get up there to the number 8 and push him, or has he legitimately got a chance still to win this on a 1-lap shootout? I mean, it takes you half a lap to get up there to full speed.
See, the thing is though, Scott, it doesn't take a half a lap to begin a race. you begin a race as soon as you cross that line. You don't need to be doing 200 miles per hour. You just need to be doing at a bare minimum of 80. So realistically, I can see the race beginning as soon as they get onto the backstretch. As soon as they're allowed to go 3 wide, I would expect Mitchell Reeves in the 02 to be up on that third line, trying to high side hustle around Andrew Schulte and possibly working with Harry Dodd. I don't know. There's so many drivers that could be fighting for this that we don't even think about that could be towards the back of the pack yet. I mean, Edward Bray, he's sitting in back there in the 66. Yeah, he's 4 laps down, but that third line can use as many drivers as they want as soon as they want to get it. So now, granted, KMA rules still are in effect, so 3 wide not allowed to happen until the backstretch, but we will have to continue watching and continue keeping focus on what's going on in front of our noses here as we are getting set and ready to go back to green flag racing. Pace car is off. Travis Browder has control of the field.
Away goes Travis Browder, already putting a gap between him and number 14. Looks like Travis is going to stay. Nope, Travis Browder going up, already possibly 3 wide, forming Travis Browder back down to number 8. Very tight, tighter than a hair in a biscuit right there. Number 8 all over number 14 of Jason Musso, side by side with the number 31. Number 8 rocking that rear end of the number 14. It is go time, but here goes the number 31, Paul Pellissier. I do not think that Paul Pellissier has yet a win in a KMA room. Tonight there might be his night. Number 8 rocking it. Number 8 going out. Number 8 flirting with that rear end 1402 side by side. Travis Browder, Paul Pellissier in the pad truck. I'm rooting for the pad truck, Cody.
This is really going to come down to the line whether or not Mitchell Reeves is able to take advantage of the positioning. Now he has the position. Now he's going to go to the third line. It looks like it will be across the line. It looks like he will be able to get it. Paul Pellissier looks like he may have gotten the win by inches.
Alrighty, if I'm looking at this correctly, the number 31, Paul Pellissier, first, and Mitchell Reeves second, and Travis Browder third. Is that what we're seeing, Cody?
I believe so. My my information has not updated yet, but it looks like that is how it is.
What a finish. Now, the number 8 and the number 14 did collide. The 8 was rocking the rear end of the number 14. What a race and what a finish out here tonight. Paul, Mitchell, Travis, Andrew, and Jason. We're going to get these drivers up here for post-race interviews.
Jason.
All righty, Gilligan, talk to me.
Hey, Scott, fun race. We'll take P3. Fun race. We'll take it.
All right, what a race. Now, what was on the mind of you and Wally and Andrew? We know you guys were trying to hook up with one another.
Oh yeah, we were hoping it was going to go green to the end, and hopefully we can make a late race move on the last couple laps. And you know, it's Talladega, and anything can happen so quick here.
Alrighty, great job, Travis Browder out here showing his support for a pad. Mitchell Reeves, second position. Talk to me.
Yeah, first and foremost, huge congrats to Paul Pellissier. Had that restart, and you know, Schulte moved down, and I knew the only chance I'd even have to have a podium was push Paul, and you know, Paul's a great racer. It's been a while. I don't know how long it's been since he's won a race, but I was really happy to be able to push him there. I knew we had a little shot there on the tri-oval, but you know, if I'm gonna finish second to somebody, I'm glad it was 31. He definitely deserved it, and you know, for just to have a caution there at the end and have a chance and get in this race, come home P2. So another great night at KMA.
Alrighty, thank you for your time, Mitchell. Good job.
Southeast out.
Alrighty, Paul, have you got a copy?
Yeah, sure do, Scott. What a race.
What a race. Now, first off, congratulations. You brought the number 31 Pad Chevy Silverado, and that makes it extra special when that Pad truck crosses that line in first place, because with Pad, we're all winners. But is this your first win with KMA Racing?
Absolutely. I mean, I don't even know how to do a burnout, Scott. I am over my head in joy.
Copy that. Put it in the first gear, turn that wheel to the left, and stomp that pedal, because we got those cameras on you. But talk to me about your race tonight. Now, you started back there in 16th place, mid-pack, scary place to start. 5 cautions later, You're 3 wide for the finish. Talk to me about the 100 laps.
Yeah, middle of the pack. I didn't like. I actually fell back and I avoided those first 2 big wrecks. And when I come out of the pits, I think after the second one, I was I don't know, in the top 10, and I just stood there the rest of the night. And I mean, I got some help at the end by guys, didn't owe me anything. They just give me a push, and I've known Travis for years, and I mean Mitchell for years, and I was glad the way things worked out at the end. I mean, I'm thrilled.
All righty, now finally, you're an older gentleman like myself, but you've seen a lot, and talk to us about your thoughts on PAD.
Wonderful, wonderful organization. Anything that can help alleviate some of this distracted driving is a great thing. I mean, and you see it all the time when you're driving. It's dangerous. People are texting and not watching where they're going. And, it's a dangerous thing, not only for them, but for the innocent victims. Great organization, and glad to support it.
All righty, great win. Paul Pellizer bringing home a win tonight in the monthly Race 4 PAD 266 in the PAD Chevy Silverado, and his first win. Very special night for Paul. Good job, Paul.
Thank you very much. I hope it's not my last.
All right, Cody, wrap us up with some race results, buddy.
Alrighty, the race results tonight, man, that was a lot of fun. That was really, really good racing. I was surprised on how it ended out, but you know what? Really, it was fantastic racing, and great job done by all the drivers. Great job done by everybody. I mean, it was awesome to see Paul able to win and the 3 wide finish across the line. I mean, granted, it would have still been pretty cool without the last wreck or without the last caution, but it does happen. The caution does have to fly every once in a while, or else, it wouldn't be considered safe racing. But still, awesome job by Paul, awesome job by Mitchell, Travis, everybody that ended up finishing out tonight's race with very, very decent times, very, very decent laps. Awesome job by all the drivers, really.
100 laps completed. 44 lead changes, 5 cautions, totaling out 15 laps. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to wrap up tonight's Race 4 PAD. Be sure to catch us this coming week on Monday at Atlanta, on Tuesday at Pocono, on Friday at Talladega, and on Saturday at Auto Club. I am Scott Kolvik. We have Cody Lipster on the cameras. This is the monthly Race for PAD 266. This is KMA TV, and we are out of here. Thank you for your night, Cody.
Thank you, Scott.